Hi everyone, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. We're going to do something a little different today. I think I might start something like studio vlogs or, in my craft room vlogs. And where it is so stinking hot in my craft room right now, I can't do anything real time or very little. So I thought I would just bring you along while I'm working on some buttons. We plan on start selling physical products in our shop around September. So I'm kind of getting ready. So I just want to show you how I'm getting my buttons done. So my son, with our different digital files, has made me some button files, and I print them off and just on regular printer paper. And if you saw at the beginning, then I cut them lengthwise. Then I have this punch that I bought with my button maker, and this is probably what takes the longest, but he's also put like a circle around each button so that when you're lining it up, it's really easy to line up. And one thing I've noticed too, at the end of the video here, I'm going to show you like kind of my new place where I'm making buttons, and I'm actually sitting down and not standing up. So it's making punching out the buttons even easier, which, anytime you can make something easier, it's the best. And the reason he's put the circle is, to center it as within that circle as much as possible, because if you're off, once you punch your button, then your button is not centered. So what I'm punching out right now is a lot of fall and Halloween buttons, because by the time we actually launch our physical products, it's going to be the fall. So I'm trying to get, ready. And a little later in the video, I'm actually punching some new files that are, or collections that are available now as a digital file, and also a Studio 3 file, so you can cut your own die cuts or stickers. And this is my button press. I bought mine from the Button Guy, I think it's called, People Power Press. I got it here in Canada, and I bought this, probably, we were still in the old house, so probably 10, 12 years ago, and I've used it to make a few buttons. My plan at the time was to start like a business just making buttons, and it just never panned out. When I first started using this, I didn't find it was working really well, and it's because I was using too thick of a paper, and I didn't find I liked how the buttons pressed. And as soon as I changed over to printing on printer paper, I find now it works amazing. So how this thing works is it has two canisters, if you will, or two places to put your button parts. The one that is further from me, that's where I put the backing of the button, and then the one closest to me is where I put the top of the button. Then I put the circle that I punched out, and then it comes with a little mylar sheet, and you put that over top. You press the top first, and then you spin the whole thing around, and then you press the bottom of the button, and they turned out perfect. And the button press that I have is a 1-inch button press, and it's not really hard to operate. But I have to say that after I broke my wrist in 2020, I've tried several times to be able to do this button press, and I couldn't do more than 20 buttons, and my wrist would just be killing me. And even at this point, 4 years later, almost 4 years later, I still can't do, 200 buttons. I do maybe 50, 75, and then I take a break, kind of stretch out my wrist, take a break, and then I come back and press some more. But it's actually kind of fun to do. What I do is, I'll print a whole bunch of sheets. I'll cut down the vertical on all the sheets. Then I punched all the circles out, and then I sit there and I make the buttons. And then I've made sort of a backing for them, and you'll see it at the end of the video, but I've made a backing for our button sets, and then I glue them on to that. Now I have to say, I bought some buttons in 2020, and I went to check for the prices of the buttons now in 2024, and the prices have doubled. Now it's sad because, once they've, now that they're charging that higher price, it'll probably never go back down, even though, let's say interest rate goes down and everything else goes down. The buttons are probably going to stay at that higher price. So what I'm punching out right now is one of our newest collection. It's called Flutterbugs, and it has just a bunch of, different bugs that you will see in the summertime, such as ladybugs and dragonflies and bees. And it's just so cute. I am loving this collection. And then right after this, I don't think I show you punching out the next collection, but our next collection that it was just available like last week, so it's available right now as a digital file. So you get it as a PNG, but also as a Studio 3 file, so you can cut it on your Silhouette. But we also offer the blackout so that you can make your own file for the Cricut, let's say. Oh, here's the new collection right there. It's called Flutter Birds, and it is probably one of, I say that about every collection, but I just love this new collection. It just has so many birds. It has 2 like full-grown chicken. Then you have a little chick in an egg. You have little eggs in a nest. You have a couple of ducks. Now in the buttons, we only have the one duck because one of the ducks wasn't going to translate really well to be put on a button. But that's, it's in the main collection. And then it has a little flamingo. You have a little seagull. It is so cute. So the link is in the description box below to our shop. It's www.nicolejones911.com. Now, if you've never purchased from us before, if you use the code FRESH, you get 50% off your entire order. And that even includes the bundles, which are already discounted heavily. So you get a really good deal on the bundles using that coupon. Now, if you've ordered from me before, but haven't used that code yet, you can still use that code. Okay, so at this point, what I like to do is I divide, into little piles. I put the same birds with the same birds, and then I just start making buttons. And like I said, I really enjoy making buttons. It's fun. I put an audiobook on and I just listen to an audiobook, and before I know it, I just have a whole bunch of buttons made. And I try to, only cut or punch out what I have time to get done. And then I try to put them right away onto our backing cards. Now, one thing I had noticed was our backing cards, of course, I print them off myself. And you'll see like I made the template on Canva. And at first, I didn't have little dots like where to put the button, and they were all crooked and everything. And the first few sheets I put the buttons directly on the cardstock. Well, I find that when you go to take them off, it rips the cardstock. And it doesn't matter because once you're all done using it, you're going to throw it out. But I still didn't like it. So then what I started doing is I took some really, really thin acetate because I don't want it to for it to add weight. You know what I mean? Because weight means more money for shipping. So I think I'm using the 3 mil, so super, super thin acetate. I cut it at 3¼ by 4¼ I glue it down with glue dots onto my backing card, and then I put glue dots in behind each button, and then I can put the buttons down, and it's just, it looks really neat. And it, then when you try to get them off, they're there. And the glue dots that I use, they're actually glue dots for balloons. So they're a little bigger. They're about 1/2 inch like wide. And it works really well for the flares. And they're way more affordable than regular glue dots. And I got like 3,000 of them in a package. So I'll be able to get tons of flares done. So once I have the mylar on, or the acetate, then I put glue dot, and then I put the buttons on the backing. And as you can tell, I have dots there, and it just makes it easier for me to align the flares and, you know, put them down. Now I've chosen a cute little way to set down the flares, and then every time I make a package, I put them in the very exact same spot. And then once they're all down, then I put them in little baggies and seal them up. So that's it. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.